Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, episode 50.
Man, it
It's a
seems
party.
like 50 went by in a heartbeat,
Yeah,
didn't it?
It sure did.
Yes.
fast.
I'm excited. We're halfway to 100.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm excited to have you be with us for 50 episodes.
We're a tenth of the way to 500.
Yeah, that's true.
This is going to be a lot of video for our kids to watch through someday.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I'm so glad they're going to. Let me take these out. Today we're talking
You'll be
about...
like, what is that?
Yeah, right. What were those crazy white things, Dad, you had in your head? We're going to talk about the retirement calculator today.
Talk about how to plan, how to save, retirement calculator.
This is one of those conversations I think that people like either love to have or hate to have. Because those who love to have it have probably done a fair amount of preparation in order to be ready to.
Yep.
Or they love the planning and like you're
Yep.
probably running calculations constantly.
Oh yeah,
This
I
one
know
goes
the numbers
too.
in my head.
Yeah.
Stored in the cloud.
So we're going to talk about how do you actually calculate how much you need in retirement, because we've had a couple of really interesting discussions over the past several days and weeks with different people who've said, oh, I didn't know how much was going to be enough, or someone told me how much was enough. And I think it's just something that people either take for granted or they don't plan, or they think it's this astronomical number, right?
Yeah. And they don't know how to get there.
Right.
Because contextually, if someone like myself is planning for the next 40 years, like how much do I need to have?
Yeah.
I have no idea what my life's going to be like.
Right,
How many kids I have,
right.
where I am in the world,
Where you want to live, how much it'll cost, all that
how
stuff.
many jets I have. It's
Yeah.
I mean,
I know, I was going to say how many jet skis I have.
jet skis with the broskies.
Six jet skis. Put that into your retirement calculator.
So, is there a easy formula for people to find out their number?
There is.
Okay.
There's actually several.
Okay.
We're going to go through one very simple formula today.
Cool.
Which we've talked a lot about FIRE, the FIRE movement.
Yep.
On the
Stands
show.
for-
Financially independent, retire early. There you go. And financially independent, retire early folks use this equation to figure out how much do they need in savings. It is whatever your monthly and or annual expenses are. So if you're spending, let's say, $40,000 a year, and you know that's your expense number, there's a couple caveats in this. One is you have to stay really consistent with that expense number.
Yes.
Right? For this equation to work, you can't be like, oh, this year it's 40, next year it's 60, then it's 52.
Yep.
It really needs to be pretty consistent for the most part.
And then kind of piggybacking off of that, this is just a starting place. So I kind of joked, I don't know how many kids I'll have, but like kids, healthcare costs, where you are in the world, inflation is another thing to consider. So there's a lot of different factors.
Yes.
So like you said, this was one of the most basic and simple, easiest to use.
Yep.
So yeah, go ahead.
So we take our annual expenses, we multiply that times 25.
25.
Okay. So $40,000 a year times 25 is how much?
One-
Beep, boop, bop, boop, beep, boop. You gotta do
$1
that.
million.
There you go. Okay, it's $1 million. And if you had $1 million in liquid assets that were invested at 8%, and I believe the going assumption is it's going to earn somewhere between 6 and 8%, is the theory is you could draw out 4% against those assets every single year and never run out of money. Okay. Now we also calculate a little bit in their inflation and things like that. But if you're living on $40,000 a year, that's $3,333 a month that you would be drawing out of your assets in order to live on, essentially.
Yep.
Yeah. So, hey, very simple. If you make 40 grand a year, all you need is $1 million.
By the time you're ready to withdraw it.
Yes.
Yeah, by the time you're ready to withdraw it. So, it's good to know because, if the first thing that comes up is, oh, all you need is $1 million. Okay, well, how do I get to $1 million?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's possible, though.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Now, here's the interesting thing, and this is, by the way, it's called the 4% rule. The 4% rule says that you can draw down up to 4% of whatever your assets are, so long as it's invested in something longer term, making 6 to 8%. You will never, ever fully deplete, maybe not never, ever. You will last as long as you need to without fully depleting your asset base, assuming expenses stay consistent. So this is the part of the challenge in this is what if you need long-term care, right? You're in a nursing home or there's some medical emergency. You obviously want to make sure that you're protected. But I digress. Let's talk about the calculator. Nick, do you know what the average amount of assets are in America for retirement?
Average assets, like someone who's about to retire, how much assets they have?
Yes.
How many assets? I have no idea.
Yeah. So we did a little investigating. We found from the Federal Reserve the following statistics. If you are between 55 and 64, which realistically should put you pretty close to retirement age, right?
Based on yesterday's episode.
Based on yesterday's episode.
66.
The median net worth, take a guess at how much median net worth is.
Average of American.
Yep.
Average American. I don't even have a basis for guessing.
Yeah.
$500,000?
Okay. It's a good guess, but it's wrong.
Okay.
The median is $187,000.
$187,000 is the median
Yes.
for people between 55 and 65.
Yep.
That's how the net worth that they have.
Correct.
Wow.
Yep.
And what we just said was if you're living on 40 grand a year, you need $1 million.
Correct.
So that's
So 187,000
one more ago.
times 4% means they are trying to live on $7,480 a year.
A year, which is how many per month?
$623.33.
That's not gonna work.
That's not going to work. How about if you are 44 to 55? So we'll take 10 years back.
Okay.
What do you think the median?
Let's see. So 55 to
Net
65
worth is-
was 187, you said?
Yep.
Okay, so it's definitely less. I would say, but how much less? I don't know. 100,000?
Okay, you're closer. The Federal Reserve says $124,000.
Oh, okay. 100. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you are between 45 and 54 and you have over $124,000 in net worth, technically you are above average in terms of your retirement savings.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then let's go 10 years prior to that. Between 35 to 44, what do you think is the median net worth?
Oh gosh. I have
So-
50,000?
Oh, you're super close now, 59,000.
59,000. Oh, okay.
Which means that by 35 to 44, you've been working somewhere between, let's say 13 and 22 years-ish.
Okay,
Right?
yep.
13 to 23 years. So in that amount of time, you've managed to amass $60,000 in net worth. But if you took 20 years to amass $60,000, rough math says you saved how much per year? 60,000, 20 years, $3,000 a year.
Yeah.
Or $250 a month is all you've saved.
Yeah.
So I think the bottom line on this is that if you are saving over $250 a month, the goal should be to be saving well over $250 a month, right? Whether that's 401k, Roth IRA, whatever other savings vehicles you have, the goal should be saving that amount of money or more. But I think that is such a insignificant amount of money, don't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, when we broke it down, to live off of $623 a month, like you gotta. I mean, you definitely are not in California,
No.
New York.
No, and you're not eating anything booze. You're like dining on cat food at that level,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So we talked about in the last show that the belief that everyone should be able to retire with dignity, but I also believe that everyone needs to do this calculation to figure out just how much they're going to need in order to do so.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Yes, 100%. And it might be daunting and scary. Adam and I aren't trying to scare you. More than anything, we're trying to really spark the conversation that's necessary. Not what you want to hear, but what you need to hear.
Yeah.
To at least start thinking, okay, how can I make this work? How can I decrease my expenses? How can I increase my income? And actually have you start thinking future oriented. What will my life look like? Whether that's 10, 20, 30, 40 years down the line.
Indeed.
Yeah, because the last thing you want is when you're 55 to 65 and doing the math of how much you would need and realizing all you've got is $600 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and for some of those folks that have 187,000 and they have 10 years or less, to go before retirement.
Yep.
You know, the amount of money that they have now, 10 years from now, is actually going to be worth less than what it is today.
And why is that?
Well, because inflation is always at play with that money, right? Inflation is the rising cost of goods over time.
I thought that was a myth.
It is not a myth.
It is a very real thing.
It is a real thing. In fact, in some places of the world, inflation, there's things called hyperinflation, where the expense of everything rises so drastically that it actually begins to seriously impact the economy. They have to make the dollars worth different amounts in order to afford the same kinds of things. So in my hands, I have one such example. Now, do you know what this is?
It is a Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe for
$1 billion. $1 billion. Now, $1 billion, this means I'm a billionaire in Zimbabwe. Look at that. $1 billion bill.
Wow.
And when the guy gave this to me, he said, this is a friend of mine who is into cryptocurrency and talks about why cryptocurrencies exist. He said, this is the reason why cryptocurrency exists, is because the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe inflated their dollars to where $1 billion bill in the United States is literally worth a handful of cents.
Wow.
So imagine people are like buying loaves of bread with stacks and stacks of these things.
Wow.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So that's
Monopoly.
Interesting, but not relevant at all to our conversation.
Well, it's like
maybe.
Monopoly. It's like financial abstraction.
It is,
We're
right?
to talk on.
I know. I should Google financial abstraction TEDx talk and see what comes up. So that's the retirement calculator. Now, on the flip side of this is the fun show for tomorrow. We are going to talk about
Compound interest.
compound interest calculator and how it actually works in your favor. You're going to want to stick around for that one.
Yep. See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye. $1 billion.